Well, hello there. Welcome to Versions, the series where I try to survive 100 days of hardcore Minecraft in every version of the game. Today, we're in 1.14, the Village and Pillage update. This version came out on April 23rd, 2019, and by July it was completed. And this is the most anticipated update by me, not just for the new blocks, or the many new mobs, and I mean many. I couldn't even get them all. No, the main attraction of this update was the villagers, which now have 7 biome specific skins and can change their professions to fit your needs. No more useless trades. No. It's profits time. So for this version, I will try to catch them all and build a trading hall. I don't know if you noticed, but I love trading halls. And last but definitely not least, fight the exciting new boss fight. So will I make it to 100 days or die as I try to take on a raid? Let's look back in time to the Village and Pillage update. Spawning in, I had to do one thing. Check myself out. Is Steve getting tanner? Conveniently, there was an outpost right beside spawn. I swear it was a random seed. Then I got going on the usual. I thought about going in the ocean, but it's not 1.13 anymore, until I saw a shipwreck. I just couldn't help myself. But it was getting dark, so I made a red bed and got ready for the next day. I probably should have let this pig live. But oh well. I found a desert temple and beside it, my friends. I watched them watch me watch the sunset. This place was giving me a good vibe, so I decided to settle, but not before raiding the desert temple. A couple of cats came my way, but I got no fish. So I got going on a villager holding facility. I can't promise safety outside the walls. Well, neither inside to be honest. Some weren't listening, so I trampled their crops, then they listened. But this lazy bum, which somehow glitched himself out, so he can get himself back in. Then I got reorganizing the village, as it was a mess. Even inside the walls wasn't much better, as an iron golem spawned in, and I can't be having a security team that's not loyal to me. So he had to go. I am so sorry, buddy. The holding facility upgraded to a breeding ground, so I stayed for the first one, the miracle of life. But that's not making me profit yet, so I picked a spot where to build my trading hall. I got building. First layer, desert villagers. They were a bit skeptical to come out, and for good reason, but that wasn't gonna stop me, as I placed the first workstation of the series. Of course it had to be a Fletcher. What a deal! I knew for this operation to be successful I was gonna need the mega spruce trees, so I went to a nearby mountain for saplings. Brought them home and got chopping, and trading. Nice. While the guy recharges, I continue moving in villagers. It's a slow process without the proper tools, so I made this guy, a toolsmith, giving me the iron trade. What I wouldn't do for an iron farm, but can do. This is strictly a no farm series. We're keeping it all natural here in Channel F. Trading all my iron did hurt though, but I was committed. A full tree trading session yielded 16 emeralds. We are here for the long game, people. Some villagers were eager beavers to get started, and so was I. For boots. Sexy. I needed to increase my emerald production though, so I increased my wood chopping capabilities. Magic. I couldn't let myself buy more cleats, so I bought one set of pants instead. Nah, just kidding, I bought all the shoes. And this guy knew what I was in the market for, as he gave me more options to choose from. I need more emeralds though, so... no, I want more. Nice. Going straight back to the armorer, I got him up to diamond armor pretty quickly. So of course I had to upgrade my boots first. I need pants though, so... not enough. Perfect. Nice. He still needed upgrading though, so after a bunch of shields, I got what I was looking for. But I'm still going paycheck to paycheck, so I had to wait a bit to get full diamond armor. By day 15, who am I? I have been neglecting my villager duties though, so I gotta move on to the rest of the professions. Of course they all have the iron trade. I had to get my picture with the stonemason, as you never forget your first trading hall. I didn't know how overpowered the butcher villager really is. 1 emerald for this much meat? No need to breed? Butcher? Or waste coal? What a steal. Vintage beef will be proud. Dry kelp is a tall ass though, so I got the farmer instead. And damn, that's a steal for apples and pumpkin pies. Shit's expensive these days. But cookies are really where you get your money's worth. And I would never recommend on buying drugs, but sometimes you gotta buy suspicious stuff to get golden carrots. I'm rich. On the surface, my bank account says otherwise. But if this project has taught me anything, it's that it's not about the numbers, it's about the experience. So I went ahead and experienced a wood chopping session. This helped me spot a villager that had evaded capture, but no matter, I'm experiencing the moment. Next on the list was the librarian, but he didn't want to listen. So I just traded for the basics and hoped for the book trade. Yes! Best part now was that I had bookshelves. This meant I had just unlocked another Hall of Fame trade, the book trade. And it didn't stop there, as later on the glass one came out. Just need its other half now. I continued trading until fully upgraded. Moving on to the cartographer, which gave me the glass panes one. So now I had 3 income sources. Not bad for a guy with stone tools. I needed to get the boat moving though, so I transferred the shepherds and fishermen at the same time. With the last 2 being a bit harder to get, I mapped my place and got exploring. Running onto a village right away. Here I got one of the missing workstations. And more iron. Again, I am so sorry. I was also on the lookout for a good cave, which was a bit harder to find. But once I did, no iron was safe. Same with my fish, but he didn't die. I finally got gold and found a flower at level 18. And after redstone, I finally got a clock. Mistakes were made as it took me till day 26, but better late than never, right? In less exciting news, I also got diamonds. I used a creeper to get me into a spawner. Zombie! And got more diamonds. On the surface, I was feeling artsy, so I tried getting a pretty screenshot under a flower, but it looked better in my head. Back home, I got the second last villager in, easy peasy, but only traded once, as the Leatherman villager might be the most useless one. I used the newly found iron to upgrade the tool and weaponsmith, helping me jump from stone to diamond tools. Very nice. From here, I decided to explore, finding another lazy bum. So I trapped him as they're pretty rare, so I'd rather save him. I needed to get a move on getting all the kinds of villagers, so I collected obsidian for a portal, but I realized I could enchant now, so I did that instead. Getting a holy moly bow. Jeez, that's good. I couldn't neglect my duties for long though, but I was mostly doing it for levels. Damn it! I took a break to get started on the second floor of the hall. Well, wall, right now, I guess. Then I went to the Nether. Still red. And hot! I used the lava to consistently make glass, as I was losing a lot of profits trading for it. Then I upgraded the facilities and watched the sunset at the end of the day. Profits were flowing, and levels kept coming, but enchantments were stinking. So I headed to the Nether for fresh air. Here I found a bit of a glitch blaze spawner, but it worked perfectly fine for the rods, giving me the materials to get the last profession, the cleric. He didn't want to be a cleric though, so I couldn't actually trade with him until the next day, but once I did, he was the easiest one to upgrade. But that might be because I'm rich right now, and once one of us makes it, we all make it. Isn't that right, buddies? But the fisherman, as he was pretty greedy, asking for 15 fish? So enchanting was next, getting some pretty decent ones, but the fishes were always in the back of my mind. This is gonna be a while. But once I got him going, I almost got him all the way. He just needed to restock though, so I chopped wood and boom, we are all up. My enchanting table was on the way, so I moved it and got started on the path for the next villagers. I mean cave. Of course, thank you Minecraft. That's exactly where I want to be. There's no excuse for this one. No water, no ice. What, is there too much grass? Anyways, the Savannah villager was next. So after remaking the portal, I got moving my breathing operation. But this villager had other ideas. I got him in the end. But once I got off the boat, it put me under the bridge, accidentally throwing my pickaxe in the panic. This and the soul sand made it a bit difficult to make my way back, but I got there in the end, and proceeded to make a wall for the highway. But again, the game had other ideas. I did get the villager in eventually, with him running away on the first opportunity he had, so I made his home, where he decided it was good enough for him to stay. The second villager went way smoother, so he got bred, and I got my first Savannah villager, and before I knew it, I had 2. So I kicked out the parents and let the kids run wild, while I chopped wood. Then what I was worried about happened. Villagers patrolling my land. So I went inside for protection, finding a chicken jockey, Nether edition. Population was growing, but I need 13, so back to chopping. Finding a wandering trader that needed protection, so I stepped up and went shopping. He was very happy to have made a deal. Maybe a bit too happy. But he calmed down eventually and let go of his llamas, so I tamed them and continued shopping. He even joined me for some of it. We were best friends, so so I placed him on a boat so I could take him home. But he disappeared after going through the portal. I looked everywhere for him, but nothing. He was gone. At least the villagers were ready for the picking. So one by one, I started the process of transferring them. This guy was pretty good at tag, but I got him eventually. I got going on the building. Once it was time to move in, he did great. Until we got to the corner. Next, with a cat. Timing is everything. But boats proved to be the easier option. A villager somehow escaped, but he was just a ghost. What the heck? What the heck? What the... And at last, I just needed one more villager. So who's gonna be the lucky winner? Congrats! I did make a mistake when transferring them, so I decided to lean in. I would also consider that a mistake, but we move on. Crafting a very, very weird composter. Great shout for changing in Minecraft. My workstation chest is looking pretty great, as well as my Savannah villagers. But they were stuck wanting the workstations of the desert ones, so I had to reset everyone. I got trading. I now had 2 stick traders, so I decided to buy a second for all the armor and tools that weren't completely upgraded, as levels just kept coming in. I knew this was going to be a long game, so once I got bored, I moved on to making a nether portal. Wanna know where to? A cave, of course. Once I chopped up, I got jumped, but I found my ground and made a very complicated but safe portal and went in for my voluntary exile. I wanted multiple levels of battlemen, but raid captains just weren't spawning, so I started to head home. I told you, this portal was safe. Oh crap. Then the fight for my life started. They just wouldn't let me up. Until eventually I did, but that meant they also could get up. But I blocked them off, survived, and made my way back to the Savannah population and got this party started. I hunkered down on the roof with my trusty bow and just waited for them to come on my way. This Ravager got stuck, which was really nice because I was pretty scared of him. Some animals took friendly fire, but it was all for the greater cause of me winning. I knew this next wave was going to have evokers, so I completely closed off my villagers and got ready. And oh boy are the evokers fast in this version. Look at them go! Not fast enough though. Ha! Got him. The rest of the raid was nowhere to be seen, but they were just stuck again. Run, 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 run. By now I was locked in. Bow was locked and loaded and I couldn't miss. And good thing too, because this thing just kept going. With this evoker being too damn fast. Damn boy, slow down. It's easier when he's on the Ravager. My helmet broke, but that didn't stop me. Or it should have though. What did stop me was me trying to find the last 2. I felt maybe they were on the Nether, but nothing. So a game of hide and seek started. Finding a freaking Ravager, so I locked in. Oof, wow. There was still more raid though, so I quickly made my way back to the tower and got shooting. This time they breached my defenses, so I had to retreat and get new armor pieces. I also picked up lava, as when in doubt, get lava. And we were on. Making myself the higher ground was a great play. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Then I had to play it smart. I knew evokers were just chilling by my place, so I couldn't just run in. So I shot one from a distance, but the other one didn't like that. Oh shit, I fucked up. Seeing I was pretty cooked, I got lava out. And cooked them very well done. I perhaps made a mistake when I angered a Ravager when getting chased by a Vex, but oh well. Perhaps I did cook them too much, as the totems was gone, but no regrets. The Ravager somehow got stuck on my 1-block tower, but I ain't complaining, as I got Hero of the Village. So I opened up the place to celebrate my villagers, but they weren't too pumped, so I went home to celebrate with my actual villagers. I ended up with 6 totems and some nice discounts, so I got trading. And upgrading the place a bit as the sites weren't looking too good. They're still not looking too good, but better. I want to say they showered me with gifts, but it's mostly garbage, unlike my precious emeralds. From here I started working on upgrading a crossbow and future potions, as Hero of the Village doesn't last that long. And I really like the deals, so I had to come up with a different way. And that way is the zombie way. It was a bit harder getting them in, but I eventually did. And also got overran by a horde. Well, no matter, because they were in. I missed my first potion, but I got them in the end. I see you. And just like that, I was a zombie doctor. Call me Dr. Mr. F. I mean, Mr. Dr. F? Mr. Dr. F it is. Profits were flowing, so I went to the mountains for a new villager. The nether section was a bit iffy, but I'm glad to inform I didn't touch lava. Yet. I didn't want to take my last 2 desert villagers though. So while I waited for them to breed, I built a trading hall for the taiga ones. The lazy bum didn't want to come, so I took a baby instead. But the little guy disappeared, but not getting too far. So I sent him through and got the second one growing just before my eyes. He knew how to dodge, but I was quicker. While setting up a tree farm, I found a wandering trader's llama, so I knew he had to be close. But his traits were garbage, so I told him no, and he didn't take it very well. This llama had 15 hearts, by the way, thought you should know. Then I got my first taiga villager, which I took right away, to the dismay of the parents, but I really need him. And zombies, lots of zombies. Gotta risk it for the biscuit. The baby still hadn't grown, so I kept doing what I do best, trading, until the baby finally grew, which I got upgrading right away. For the moment of truth. No! Now I was in dismay, so I traded a bit to get my head straight. I got transferring them back, as they're not needed with those trades. Looked like he knew exactly where to go, but he stopped right before the portal, probably thinking, am I ready to be back? And he was. No trauma today. Hey, here's your kid back. Popping a baby right away, but the wrong kind. So I chopped more wood until the right one popped out. But this time I waited for them to grow. And once they did, I tested him out. And they gave it to me, so he was allowed to come home. Getting them there was a bit of a mess, but we got there in the end. Even getting a visit from our good old friend. But the enchanting never ends, especially when the game doesn't give you what you want. But I was determined to get a max out crossbow, so enchanting away I went. Getting there in the end, for both piercing and multi-shot. So by the end of the day, I was ready to head out and look for the stronghold, making sure to practice my aim on the way. I passed by a village with a drowning problem, and getting to go to my old home, I eventually reached the point of digging down, and nothing. But I kept looking, eventually running into the stronghold. This one was a mess, but at least I got to try out my new toy. And eventually found the portal, with 0 eyes. But not an issue for me, I'm loaded. So I jumped in and got the second party started. And let me tell you, crossbows are fun, especially the multi-shot one. So fun in fact, I made myself one too. The fight turned out to be one of my favorites, with the dragon standing no chance against my crossbow. Then just like that, the end was freed. I had an egg, and I was able to go home to day 100, where I spent the day trading and got to watch the sunrise above my still in progress villager trading hall. Which yes, technically I only had 1 goal completed, but technically that wasn't the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal was to have fun. And that's everything for this episode. Thanks for watching 1.14, and come back next week for version 1.15, the Buzzy Bees update, everyone's favorite. Hey everyone, EdRef here, and this is just to let you know that I'm going to be taking a bit of a break. But I'll be back. This is a break I have to take. I don't really want to, but it needs to be done. So I appreciate the crap out of every single one of you that's viewed, liked, and especially comment. They've given me a huge boost, so thank you. And that's why I'll for sure be back. I've enjoyed the live period of the project way more than when I was just grinding by myself. So I'll be back. And hope to see you back too. Thank you again, and bye.